listening to Cassphere Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. Ready for another deep dive?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Today, we're going to focus on AI again.
Of course.
Specifically, someone who's been called the real father of OpenAI,
Oh, wow.
Ilya Sutskever.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, we see all these headlines about ChatGPT,
Right.
but we want to kind of go beyond that
Yeah, get a little deeper.
and understand the person who, was really behind all that.
For sure.
So we've got his Wikipedia page, some articles about his career,
Yeah.
and even some info on his brand new AI firm.
Very cool.
Yeah, this should be pretty fascinating.
I think what's really interesting about Sutskever is that his journey kind of mirrors the evolution of AI itself.
Oh, how so?
Well, you see this incredible arc from groundbreaking research to leading a major AI powerhouse.
Right.
And now this new venture focusing on a very specific aspect of AI.
So let's rewind a bit.
Okay.
Who is Ilya Sutskever? Give us the basics.
All right. So he's a 37-year-old computer scientist. And get this. Born in Russia, raised in Israel from the age of 5.
Wow.
And then moved to Canada at 16.
So a really diverse background right from the start.
Exactly.
I mean, that's a lot of cultural influence packed into his, formative years.
It is.
Do we know if those shifts in environment, played a role in shaping his perspective?
It's certainly possible.
Yeah.
And one article I was reading mentioned how he really thrived at the Open University of Israel,
Interesting.
which is all about self-paced distance learning.
Ah, okay.
So it seems he loved that freedom to explore at his own speed.
That independent streak kind of makes a lot of sense, given his later career choices.
Yeah.
He didn't exactly follow a conventional path, did he?
Not at all.
So speaking of influential figures, let's talk about his PhD.
Okay.
He studied under Jeffrey Hinton, right?
Yeah.
At the University of Toronto.
That's right.
I mean, this connection to one of the godfathers of AI, that's got to be a pivotal moment in Sutskever's journey.
Oh, absolutely. Pivotal moment.
So what happened after his PhD? Did he just go straight into the industry?
Well, actually, before heading to the industry, he made a significant contribution to the field.
Oh.
Alongside his colleague, Alex Krzyzewski.
Who?
They created AlexNet in 2012.
Wait, AlexNet. I remember reading about that.
Yeah.
It was a groundbreaking project.
It was, especially for image recognition.
Right, using deep learning.
Exactly.
So didn't that lead him to Google?
It did.
Okay.
Both Sutskever and Krzyzewski, they found themselves in the spotlight after AlexNet.
Understandably.
And they both ended up at Google.
Makes sense.
With Sutskever joining the Google Brain team.
Oh, wow. So he's already making waves at Google.
He is.
But then things take an interesting turn, right?
Yes. In 2014, he receives this, get this, a cold email.
A cold email.
A cold email, an invitation to dinner.
To dinner?
To dinner with some pretty influential figures.
Okay, like who?
Sam Altman,
All right.
Craig Brockman,
Okay.
and Elon Musk.
Wow, that's quite the dinner party.
It is, and this dinner is where the OpenAI story begins.
So what drew Sutskever to OpenAI?
Well, from what I've read, he was initially drawn to their vision
Okay.
of creating a nonprofit open source alternative
Sure.
to the closed world of companies like Google.
I see. So kind of connecting back to his love for independent open learning.
Right, it seems that desire extended to the world of AI development as well.
So OpenAI offered him a chance to really push the boundaries of research
Yes.
without the constraints of a, traditional corporate environment.
Exactly.
So what were some of his notable contributions during his time there?
Oh, there are so many. Where do we even begin?
And what stands out to you?
His research on sentiment neurons is particularly fascinating.
Sentiment neurons.
Yeah, so basically he trained an AI to generate reviews.
Okay, like you'd see on Amazon or Yelp and...
Exactly.
Yeah.
What he discovered was that a single neuron within that AI model
Wow.
could accurately predict whether the review was positive or negative.
So one tiny part of the AI became a mini sentiment expert.
You could say that, yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So what were the implications of that discovery?
Well, it was a huge step forward in understanding how AI processes language and emotion.
Yep.
And this work directly connects to the development of ChatGPT.
Oh.
It all builds on those principles of sentiment analysis and large language models.
So ChatGPT is essentially a much more advanced evolution of those initial sentiment neuron experiments.
You could say that, yeah.
It's years of research culminating in this complex model capable of generating human quality text.
It really is remarkable.
Incredible. But before we dive too deep into ChatGPT,
Sure.
I'm kind of curious about this new AI firm Sutskever launched.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about it?
Well, it seems like it's quite a departure from, the world of chatbots and large language models.
Oh, really? In what way?
So in June 2024, he founded Safe Superintelligence, Inc.,
Safe Superintelligence Inc.
or SSI for short.
SSI. Okay, I like the name. What's the story behind it?
So the name really reflects their singular focus,
Okay.
which is developing safe superintelligence.
Okay, so they're not trying to build the next viral AI app
Right.
or anything like that.
No.
It's all about preventing those sci-fi scenarios
Yeah.
where AI turns against humanity.
That seems to be the core mission, yeah.
Wow.
They're tackling the challenge of aligning superintelligence with human values.
Right, ensuring it remains beneficial and doesn't go off the rails.
Exactly.
That sounds incredibly complex, almost philosophical.
It is a massive undertaking, no doubt.
Do we know the specifics of their approach?
Unfortunately, those are still under wraps.
Okay.
AI companies, they tend to be pretty secretive about their methods these days.
Right. Yeah, the need to protect their intellectual property.
Exactly.
But I imagine it takes a pretty impressive team to even attempt something like this.
Oh, absolutely. Sutskever has assembled a team of leading researchers and engineers.
Yeah.
Many with backgrounds specifically in AI safety and alignment.
Mm.
And, that $1 billion in funding they secured.
Oh, right. They got a ton of money, didn't they?
They did.
$1 billion. That's wild.
It's a staggering amount of investment.
Yeah, it seems like investors are taking this potential threat of superintelligence seriously.
They are. It's a sign of how rapidly the landscape is shifting.
Yeah.
Just a few years ago, this level of funding dedicated solely to AI safety
Right.
would have been unheard of.
It's like the world is waking up to the fact that we need to figure out the safety protocols
Yes.
before AI becomes too powerful to control.
Precisely. And Sutskever's background, it makes him uniquely qualified to lead this effort.
Right. He's not just a brilliant researcher,
Yeah.
but someone who has been at the forefront of AI development
For sure.
and understands the potential pitfalls.
Exactly.
So he's seen firsthand how quickly things can advance.
Yeah.
But let's be realistic here. Can SSI,
Yeah.
even with Sutskever's expertise and $1 billion?
Actually solve the problem of superintelligence alignment.
Right.
I mean, this is a challenge that has stumped philosophers and scientists for decades.
It's a monumental task for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Whether SSI can fully achieve this ambitious goal remains to be seen.
Okay.
However, the fact that they're focusing such significant resources on the problem is a major step forward.
So it's not necessarily about finding a definitive solution right away.
Right.
It's more about pushing the research forward, bringing attention to the issue.
Exactly. They're shining a light on the potential risks of superintelligence
Okay.
and prompting other researchers, policymakers, even the public,
Yeah.
to engage with these critical questions.
Okay, so we've talked about SSI's mission,
Right.
the challenges they're facing.
Yeah.
But what about their actual approach? Do we have any clues about the specific methods they're using?
Well, they've been pretty tight-lipped about the details.
Okay.
One article mentioned they're building on existing research
Mm-hmm.
in AI safety and alignment.
But, they haven't revealed any specific techniques
So-
or breakthroughs.
So it's all a bit of a mystery for now.
Kind of, yeah.
Are they developing new algorithms,
Yeah.
creating ethical frameworks,
Yeah.
running simulations?
Yeah.
What's happening behind those closed doors?
It's hard to say for sure.
Okay.
But one thing is clear. They're taking a long-term perspective.
Okay.
They're not trying to rush a product to market.
Got it.
They're investing in fundamental research that could have a lasting impact
Yeah.
on how we approach AI development.
That's a refreshing change of pace in a field that often seems obsessed with, quick wins and flashy demos.
It is.
But I have to ask, some might argue that focusing on superintelligence safety is, premature,
Yeah.
even a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even know if superintelligence is possible yet,
Right.
let alone imminent.
Yeah.
So what would you say to those who hold that view?
It's a valid point, and some researchers do believe that we should prioritize addressing the ethical challenges we're facing with current AI systems.
Right, because we already have real-world concerns about things like, algorithmic bias,
Yes.
the potential for job displacement, all
Yeah.
that stuff.
However, Sutskever's argument seems to be that superintelligence,
Yes.
even if it's decades away,
Uh-huh.
has the potential to be so transformative, so
Yes.
powerful,
Yeah.
that we can't afford to wait until it's too late
Okay.
to address the safety concerns.
It's almost like an insurance policy, right?
Yeah.
You might not need it today,
Right.
but if that catastrophic event does happen,
Yeah.
you'll be grateful you had it.
That's a good analogy.
And it's not just about preventing negative outcomes.
Right.
It's about ensuring that superintelligence is used for good,
Yes.
that it benefits humanity as a whole.
Absolutely. This brings us back to that concept of alignment we talked about earlier.
Okay, so safety and alignment,
Yeah.
two sides of the same coin when it comes to superintelligence.
Yeah.
So do we have any concrete examples of how SSI is approaching these challenges?
Mm.
Any hints about what they're actually working on?
Well, as we mentioned before, they've been very secretive about the specifics.
Right.
No technical details or research papers have been released yet.
Okay.
They're still in the early stages of development.
So we're left to speculate a little
bit, yeah.
But perhaps we can glean some insights from, the backgrounds of their team members.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
We know they have experts in machine learning, reinforcement learning,
Okay.
and game theory on their team.
Right.
These are all fields that are highly relevant to AI safety and alignment.
Okay, so they've got the technical expertise.
They do.
But what about the ethical side of things?
Right.
Are there any philosophers or ethicists on the team?
We don't have confirmation on that.
Okay.
But given Sutskever's own deep concern for the ethical implications of AI,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they have people on board who are thinking about those broader questions.
Right, because it's not just about building a technically safe AI.
Exactly.
It's about making sure it aligns with our values.
Yes.
Our sense of right and wrong.
For sure.
Right, and that's where things get really tricky.
It is.
How do you define those values, those ethical principles,
Right.
in a way that can be programmed into an AI system?
Exactly. That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And it's one that SSI is grappling with.
Okay.
They understand that this isn't just a technical problem, it's also a philosophical one.
It seems like they have a long road ahead of them.
They do, but, from what we know so far,
Yep.
it sounds like SSI is well-positioned to make significant progress in the field of superintelligence alignment.
They do, but it's important to remember that this is a field with many unknowns.
Oh, absolutely.
We're still in the early days of understanding superintelligence,
Right.
let alone figuring out how to control it.
Exactly. It's uncharted territory.
Yeah.
And that's what makes SSI's work so crucial.
Yeah.
They're exploring these uncharted waters, pushing the boundaries of our understanding,
Right.
and hopefully guiding us towards a future where AI remains a force for good.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground on SSI.
We have.
But before we move on,
Yeah.
I want to circle back to Ilya Sutskever himself.
Okay.
This is a guy who's gone from being like a brilliant but relatively unknown researcher
Right.
to a key figure in the AI world.
Yes.
And now, perhaps its most cautious voice.
Interesting.
What do you think drives him?
It's a fascinating trajectory. He's clearly passionate about AI and its potential to transform the world.
Okay.
But he's also acutely aware of its potential dangers.
Right.
Perhaps it's that combination of enthusiasm and caution
Yeah.
that makes him such a compelling figure.
It's almost like he's wrestling with his own creation, right?
Yeah,
Trying to ensure that it doesn't become something we regret.
that's a good way to put it.
And it's a struggle that reflects the larger societal debate around AI. We're all grappling with the implications of this incredibly powerful technology,
Right.
trying to figure out how to harness its potential
Yeah,
while mitigating its risks.
absolutely.
And Sutskever is right at the forefront of that conversation.
He is.
Whether he's leading OpenAI, launching SSI,
Yeah,
or simply voicing his concerns.
Right.
He's shaping the way we think about the future of AI.
he is. And it's a testament to his intellect and his integrity
Mm.
that he's willing to ask the tough questions, to challenge the status quo,
Yeah.
and to advocate for a future where AI benefits humanity.
Okay, so we've talked about Sutskever's journey,
Yeah.
his contributions to AI,
Yeah.
his new company, and his overall vision.
Right.
But there's one lingering question that I keep coming back to.
What's that?
Why is he called the real father of OpenAI? I mean, he wasn't the only founder,
Right.
and he eventually left the company.
He did.
So what is it about his role that earned him that title?
Well, I think it speaks to his profound influence on the company's early development and success.
So it's more than just being a co-founder or the chief scientist.
It is.
It's something deeper than that.
Exactly. Several articles highlighted his technical brilliance,
Yeah.
his leadership, and his unwavering commitment to OpenAI's original mission,
Okay.
even when it meant, clashing with other leaders.
Wow.
He was seen as the driving force behind many of their key achievements.
So he was really the brains behind the operation, the one who made it all possible.
That's part of it, but it's also about his vision,
Okay.
his deep understanding of AI, and his ability to, inspire and guide others.
Right.
He's not just a brilliant engineer. He's also a thought leader,
Okay.
a visionary who helped shape OpenAI's direction.
That makes sense. But it's interesting that he wasn't like the public face of the company.
Right.
That role belonged to Sam Altman.
Yeah, and that difference in personality and style might have contributed to their eventual parting of ways.
In what way?
Well, Sutskever is more introspective,
Yeah.
more focused on the long-term implications of AI,
Okay.
while Altman is more outward-facing, more adept at, PR and fundraising.
So it's like the classic story of the brilliant scientist versus the charismatic CEO.
Yeah, you could say that.
Their strengths complemented each other for a while.
Right.
But ultimately, their visions diverged.
Exactly, and it's a reminder that building a successful AI company
Yeah.
requires more than just technical expertise. It also requires leadership, vision, and a keen understanding of the broader societal context.
And, of course, a lot of money.
Absolutely. But even with all the funding in the world,
Yeah.
the success of an AI company ultimately depends on the people,
Right.
on the minds that are driving the technology forward.
Right.
And in the case of OpenAI, Ilya Sutskever was one of those key minds, the real father who helped bring it to life.
Okay, so we finally answered that lingering question. But it's raised even more questions in my mind.
Like what?
Like, what will Sutskever's legacy be?
Yeah.
Will SSI succeed in its mission? And what does all of this mean for the future of AI?
Those are excellent questions, and questions that, we'll continue to explore as this field rapidly evolves.
Right.
It's a story that's still being written.
For sure, but I think we've done a pretty good job today of, kind of unpacking Sutskever's journey.
Yeah, we've covered a lot.
From his early research to his role at OpenAI and now his new venture with SSI.
It's a fascinating trajectory.
It is, and it really highlights the complexities of both the promise and the peril of artificial intelligence.
Absolutely. And it underscores the importance of having these conversations, thinking critically about where AI is headed and how we can ensure it benefits humanity.
Well said. And I think that's a great note to end on.
Yes.
For our listeners out there, keep learning.
Keep questioning.
Keep questioning and keep exploring this ever-evolving world of AI. Until next time.